Hello, it's Paul here once again. Welcome to my channel, talking music, facts and information and stories about the song. And the song today is this one from Mariah Carey and BOYZ, One Sweet Day. A mighty collaboration, I'd say. Now, this was the song that brought together artists who were at the top of their game at the time. Mariah Carey had had 8 US number ones since 1990. And was to go on to have 13 through the decade. And BOYZ at this point, the end of 1995, had 3 number ones in America and were to go on to have another 2 in the 6 years in the 1990s that they were making hits. What with Whitney Houston slipping and Madonna coasting and Celine Dion only beginning to really shine, Mariah Carey at this point was the world's number 1 female singer, and One Sweet Day combined her undoubted talent to the artistry and smoothness of the world's most successful boy band, or more specifically R&B vocal harmony quartet, BOYZ. Between them, their singles had spent an astonishing 68 weeks since 1990 on top of the US singles chart, when this song was released in the US and the UK. There you can see all the songs that they had number 1 hits with. As you can see, Mariah Carey was racking them up, and BOYZ, they had a couple of really long runners at number 1, End of the Road and I'll Make Love to You. Now, One Sweet Day is a song about missing a loved one after they die, and the promise of one sweet day, I'll be with you, and we'll be reunited again in heaven. How the song came to be is quite remarkable. BOYZ and Mariah had been writing separately about specific people in their life who they'd lost. Mariah was writing about David Cole, who had died in January after a long illness, only 32. He was a record producer and one half of C&C Music Factory, who had produced music for Aretha Franklin, James Brown and Mariah herself. And BOYZ were writing a song for Khalil Roundtree, their road manager and surrogate father, who was shot in a hotel elevator in Chicago while the boys were on tour. Mariah had been writing a song with record producer Walter Afanasieff, and she got to a point where she felt it should now be a collaboration rather than a solo effort. And she said to Walter, "Let's leave it here because then I can finish the song off with whoever I end up singing it with, so they'll have a hand in it." Mariah at the time was married to the chairman of Sony Music Entertainment, Tommy Mottola, who had a think and gave BOYZ a call over at Motown Records asking if they'd like to do a duet with Mariah, and a meeting was set up at the Hit Factory in New York so the boys could hear the song that Mariah had in mind. Prior to the meeting, Mariah had spent some time with Walter Afanasieff, putting down a demo of what they had so far, which was the melody and hook and a few lyrics. What was remarkable was that the melody was very similar to what the boys had been working on, and the lyrics the boys had were sympathetic to the concept that Mariah originally had. Nathan Morris from the boys sang what he had of his song, and it was agreed the 2 parts, Mariah's and the boys', could be merged together, and they finished the song off that day. It was also agreed they would return in a week to spend a day recording the song under Walter's production. Because of touring commitments on both sides, they would only have a day together to sing the song, but Walter assured them that if he had enough to work with, he could piece the song together, a bit like a jigsaw. When they all reconvened in the studio a week or so later, everything had to be done in a few short hours, and that meant the video too. And because of limited time, the video was shot in the studio while recording the song. Walter Afanasieff found the day frustrating because, with camera crews getting in the way and Mariah and the boys larking about and being interviewed, he felt that there wasn't enough time being devoted to the recording of the song. But as is invariably the case with creative people, they usually get there in the end. Mariah was very happy with the video. She was keen to protect the precious message of the song, and a video that was shot of them singing, relaxing and larking about seemed to fit the bill for her. The truth was, of course, that there was no time in their schedules for a 2, 3 or 4-day video shoot. And with videos now being essential to the song, this was the best they could do. And in fairness, it really is good enough, with viewers being given access to what went on that day. And the critics agreed, saying the video matched the song's meaning well, it was uncomplicated and didn't detract from the message. And it showed that Mariah and the boys had bonded. And the song, One Sweet Day, was the standout song on the Mariah Carey Daydream album. When it comes to the song itself, Mariah Carey has always said really positive things about the song. She's always felt that it kept to the original concept, but as the years have gone by, people have told her how that song has got them through rather troubled and difficult moments in their life. And that's an interpretation of the song that she welcomes.
Well, One Sweet Day was just a song that I had a concept for, just about people who had passed away that had been, close, or just different people that were lost, that were not part of my life anymore. And I went to BOYZ II Men, and they happened to have they had a situation that they were writing about, and that was ironically, melodically so similar to the song that I was writing. And we put the two songs together, and it became what became known as One Sweet Day. And it did go on to be this enormous hit. And I think the song really still means a lot to us. We recently performed it together, and it's one of those songs that people really kind of, it's another song that people always tell me, they always thank me for that collaboration and say that helped them get through really tough times.
As for its chart performance, well, top 10 in 13 countries, number 1 in Canada and New Zealand, was a little bit underwhelming in the UK, I must say, where it sold 250,000 copies and peaked at number 6 in the January of 1996. And I think that's rather symptomatic of Mariah Carey's and BOYZ II Men's success in the UK. There's no doubt Mariah is very successful in Britain, but nowhere near as she is in the US, where she is absolutely loved. She is astonishingly successful worldwide, with 250 million record sales. She ranks the third most successful female in American sales behind Barbra Streisand and Madonna. But with Streisand on 69 million in the US, Mariah is only a couple of big hits behind and could eventually take that top spot. BOYZ II Men in their heyday sold 60 million records, success that would have any record company salivating. But excluding this song, they only really ever had 2 other hits in the UK, On Bended Knee and End of the Road. The song's chart performance in America, though, was astounding. 16 weeks at the top of the Billboard chart. The song was released November the 16th, 1995, and took just 2 weeks to make number 1, and it stayed there until March 23rd, 1996, when Celine Dion hit the top with Because You Loved Me. Just think about that for a moment. If it took over the number 1 spot on December the 2nd, it was number 1 all through December, all through January, all through February, and nearly all of March. At that time, it was the longest any song had stayed at number 1. And as you can see in the chart there, Mariah was doing rather well, wasn't she? Because Fantasy was still in the top 5 after having been at number 1 for 8 weeks. One Sweet Day went on to be the 3rd bestseller, affiliated to 1995 in America, when the 96 sales were taken into account. It sold 1.3 million records in the States, but because it was a hit over the new year, its end-of-year placing for 95 and 96 was lower than it would be because of split sales. I love the song's sentiment and the melody, and you can't fault the quality of the voices. But for me, and here comes the critic, if the song was less busy from a vocal point of view, I'd have preferred it. As the song builds, there's a lot going on, let's put it that way, and I think in this instance, less is more. So there we have it, Mariah Carey and BOYZ II Men and One Sweet Day. That's it for another Talking Music. Do hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe. There it is. There's the button. It's just waiting for you to click it. And please give us a like as well if you've liked the video, of course. So until the next time when we'll be talking more music, I'll bid you farewell. Bye-bye.